I take my life and myself very seriously. I don't think I'm on my own. And thankfully, there is a part of me that never lets me take it too seriously. And I'll always see myself taking life too seriously. And in the midst of very intense things, I will find humor. And it's such a gift when you can see it. And every time you do, you win. Because somewhere there's something in humor. I think God has a great sense of humor, whatever God is, the big thing that I love. Something, when I can do this, when I can find the humor, it's like an echo of something. It's a simultaneous, like, humor and relief. It's like a remembering. It's like, oh yeah, it's not so serious. It doesn't matter how serious it is, Like, this isn't directly related, but there's a great story about a Zen monk. It's always a Zen monk, isn't it? So he's going through the jungle, and suddenly he hears some tigers, and he starts running, and he's getting away from them. He's going great, and then he comes to a cliff. It's like, oh no, cliff. But then he sees a vine going over the side of the cliff, so he starts to climb down the vine to get away from the tiger. And the tiger's up the top, doing "Arr!" So he's going great. He's climbing down the vine, but then he hears, as he's climbing down, the sound of the tiger above is getting less. But then he can hear, but it's also getting louder. And he looks down, and there's 3 tigers at the bottom of the rope as well. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm stuck. I can't go up. I can't go down. What am I going to do? Well, I'll just wait here." And then he looks up the vine, and he sees that a little mouse has come out, and it's gnawing on the vine, and it's starting to chew its way through it, and it's too far. He can't climb up quick enough to stop the mouse from cutting the vine. And he's like, oh no, this is not looking good for me. And then he looks straight ahead of him at the cliff, and he sees some wild strawberries growing in the cliff. And he reaches out, and he can just about grab one, and he puts it in his mouth, and it's the most delicious strawberry he's ever had in his whole life. That's a story. I don't know if it has a happy end or whatever, but it's kind of about living in the moment. But to me, it relates to this thing about finding humor. You got tigers above, tigers below. There's a mouse eating their vine, but it's like in the middle of all that, this humor can cut through, and you can have the most deliciously hilarious moment happen for you. And it just suddenly, that's all that matters. In that moment, that's all that matters. I don't know what happened to the monk. I think it's one of those, like, because it's a Zen monk, it's one of those Zen stories. So there's no end, unfortunately.